If you stare at what you just wrote down on that paper, this is something that everyone that is in this class can do tonight. Now, life insurance is based off of age, health, and a couple of other components. But when you get down to the purpose, remember what we studied about trust. What are the elements of a trust? What are the elements of a trust? Can anyone tell me the elements of a trust? The reason why I'm asking this is because I don't want you to miss this now. What is the elements of a trust? Let's see. I'm going to see who's paying attention. Caller, last four digits of your number is 1698. Can you tell me the elements of a trust? 1698. Can you tell me the elements of a trust? Islam.
I'm not sure I'm on my toes tonight. I'm with you, but I don't have an answer. I'm not going to believe it.
Okay. All right. Okay. I want to see if we got anyone out there that can give us the elements of a trust. We covered this yesterday. Caller, last four digits of your number is 6087. Can you give us the elements of a trust?
I don't want to guess. And this is a little bit of the stuff. Anything. I mean, I don't want to guess, but I'll go ahead and try.
Let me give you a hint. The first one is a purpose. The second one is intent. What are some of the other elements of a trust? You got purpose, intent.
I got it in my head, but I cannot quite remember.
Okay, so I'm going to give it to you again. I want everybody to write this down. Write this down. Once again, here are the elements of a trust. This is how you make this stuff go. This is how what you just wrote down, you're going to say, well, how do I make this work? Let me give you the elements of a trust. Again, the elements of a trust is intent, purpose, parties, and specific res, and one of the methods of formation. And what are the methods of formation? Well, one of the methods of formation, we'll go a little further. It says, as long as I can prove that I have a trust after I've made the claim it is a trust, then I have standing to come in and make a claim and say the beneficiary and say that the trustee didn't make a payment or disbursement. Then the burden of proof after I get prima facie case against the trustee, the court of equity assumes that the trustee is guilty. Prima facie evidence is sufficient to establish the fact or rise a presumption unless disproved or rebutted. That is exactly what they're doing when they took you from admiralty into equity. The same thing is happening there. The strength comes in equity, where the court is going to assume that the trustee is guilty, meaning he didn't make the payment, and the only way that a trustee can prove that he is innocent is that he has a record that he made the payment. The only thing the court wants to know at that point is, when are you going to make a payment? And if you are not going to make a payment, then you're in contempt. See, this is where the power of a trust comes in. It's in equity. See, in equity, you're able to utilize those elements. And see, the special res allows you to have cash value. The cash value means after they receive so much payments, it builds up value. Because the money that you're spending in premiums isn't going into the insurance policy per se, it's going into an investment vehicle. All you're doing is you're converting that and redirecting that to your trust. You overlap the policies so you can increase the amount of income. You have to have insurance to have assurance. This is private banking, converting an insurance policy into a private bank structure where you will utilize the power of equity and spend down those proceeds. Why? Because the trustee has right of use. I mean, I can give you the whys all day, but this is where your homework comes in. You have to have a clear understanding in your mind. The more trust agreements and contracts you put together, the more endowed your family trust, the more endowed your business management trust is, the more endowed your private family foundation is. They have to be connected with the power of agreement and equity. I'm going to bring up some of the questions. Go to another page here. Because see, in the questions that we asked, and I know I made a typo in the question that was asking what is noting. It was supposed to be noting, not nothing, but noting. See, that process of noting is the vehicle on how you're going to what? Spend down that capital. Why? Because the notary is going to utilize the notarial. How you was set up in one tier, which section can get really public. You know, we can talk about insurance. Everybody knows about that. Everybody knows about that. You have to literally understand that let me ask this question. What is the monetary gain for an insurance company to insure your life? Is it because they really care about your family, or is it has a commercial component? Well, let me be clear. Insurance companies take your straw man who's already in a trust with the government. They they only talking about just things they're talking about. What? Let's see who's paying attention. Who want to take a guess at that? That's an easier question, I think. How many different types of insurance is out there? Let's see.
0859. I'm just taking a wild guess. I really don't know this answer. I'm gonna be honest with you, but if I was to take a guess, I would say, man, you can insure anything. So I would say more than 80 at least. That I'm just taking a wild guess.
Islam. When trust, Islam, perfect answer. Islam. The reason why, see, when we say law and history go together in the financial realm, when you talk about banking, insurance came before banking, and so trust is what created the bank. Listen to what I'm saying. They were practicing private banking before they had a central banking system operating in trust. So if there's over 80 different types of trust, there's likely over 70 to 80 different types of insurance, because trusts have been using insurance as a private banking tool since its inception, and this is not taught publicly. I remember sitting inside of the pre-licensing classes, and here in the state of Georgia, when you took the pre-licensing course, we got brought in under the grandfather clause, which means that in Georgia they would give you what they called a temporary license. which means as long as you took the pre-licensing course, you could generate a commission before you sat and took the state exam. Because you could operate off a temporary license. You just had a licensed agent that would write up the policy, but if you was the junior agent on that policy, you still would receive a commission. I remember sitting in the pre-licensing course, and I remember them explaining about indemnity and indemnifying clauses and arbitration and all these things. And it didn't hit me until I went back over what Brother Sharif and Chris was talking about, and then talking to a lot of constituents that I know in the insurance community, and I realized that the wealthy, if you have insurance, I want you to think about this. If you have insurance on an item that you know is going to be damaged, that insurance serves a purpose, because if it's going to be damaged in the course of using it, and you have an insurance policy that covers that type of damage, then you even though you may lose that item, you have enough insurance to go acquire another one. It began to start to sink in, just like trust and the A4V process. Insurance is a funding mechanism. I want you to think about all the things that have insurance that you're not recapturing, that you contribute to. If those of you that have mortgages, you got mortgage insurance, things of that sort. If you're in a loan, that loan has credit insurance. If you got a bank account, it has FDIC insurance. Everything that you're dealing with that's touching commerce, there's insurance, which means that's evidence that there is a trust, which means that if you can tie your trust to those vehicles, then you will becoming self-sustaining when you overlap those contracts. You have to be able to absorb it in that component. Now, I know what I may be saying may be a little fast for a lot of you. So to be fair, I'm going to allow you to take what you just wrote down, and in tomorrow's class, the family trust, the business management trust, and the private family foundation with an insurance policy. Those words that you wrote down on your paper, if you go to your banking dictionary and your Black's Law dictionaries and research all the definitions of those things that you wrote on that paper, I'm going to give you a hint. If you learn the definitions and you tie everything that is in a contract together with itself, you actually have enough white paper to execute.
Jamie on the phone.
You have enough to be able to utilize the spin down. All you literally have to do is tie these things together in a form of agreement. Now I'm going to pause and give everybody a chance to ask questions. Caller, last 4 digits of your number is, let's see. Let's see, who we got here. Caller, last 4 digits of your number is 9179. 9179. Do you have any questions of anything we covered in class today?
Islam.
Islam.
It's 9179.
Islam.
Islam. This brother Asifa.
Islam.
Islam, brother.
Any questions over anything you heard in class today? Any questions you want to bring up so we can discuss it?
I I missed a little.